Hey, yo! We here, skirted back in the building. It's that time yet again. Another week, another episode of No Cooldown Podcast, episode 82. I think 82. I do not know how to say it in another language. If somebody could be able to help me with that, that's great. But just leave in the comments below, because my language comprehension outside of English is fucking terrible. But we're here nonetheless to talk about these games. We are just outside of the purview of the continuation of another Xbox developer direct, and we're here to break some stuff down, to talk about these games, what happened over the past week. And of course, I'm here with my good the partner in crime, Easy. He is here. How you doing, man?
I'm chilling, man. Just got off watching some pretty cool stuff coming down the pipeline, and honestly just enjoying the day.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. It's been a very, very nice, calm week. You know what I'm saying? The gaming news is on a steady flow. We're getting into the year. People who are outside of No Cooldown Podcast, you may have seen something called the video game draft that went down over the past couple of days to the week. So that's been really cool to see. I might leave some in the description for y'all to go check out some fun stuff that we're doing on another channel. But all this stuff relates to everything, man. It's all about this game and stuff. At the end of the day, 2024 is going to be a good year, and you can make an even better year for us by rating this podcast 5 stars. Make sure you head to all these dang audio podcast platforms and drop a 5-star rating. Share the podcast. Let people know that we out here, man. Just search up No Cooldown Podcast. We'll be right there on all platforms. No Cooldown Podcast. And yeah, just rock with us, man. 2024 is a long year. We got a lot of content to go. Oh shoot! And I don't even want to. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little bit. No, it's not even early. They dropped a couple hours ago. You know what I'm saying? Your boys might be, you know what I'm saying, in a little trailer from a game or something like that. They might be in a little snippet, some little promo stuff for a game. I don't know, man. No rest for the wicked. Shout outs to Private Division. Shout outs to them over there. They include your boys in a little, you know what I'm saying, like a hype little promo reel and stuff from all the reactions from the Gamer Awards. So hey, shout outs to them, bro. When any words on that?
No, I'm actually really excited for the game. Shout out to Private Division for even just thinking of a little old us. Really do appreciate it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on that game.
100, man. We gotta talk Private Division. We gotta talk about that joint, man. It looks good. We're excited, and we're just happy to be on that there, man. Honestly, it means a lot, so we appreciate that. Honestly, a nice opening to 2024 for the squad at No Cooldown. But speaking of, opening, we gotta open up the show and talk about the stories for the week. When is you ready?
Born ready.
Let's get to it, man. First and foremost, we had a couple of different hits on Square Enix in this episode. They might be the most mentioned, but to start off, Square Enix, for their upcoming title Foam Stars, have confirmed that they are using AI art in the production of this game. Now, there is some confirmation behind that. We had some stuff from VGC. Again, one of the executives has said that, all the main art, all the core elements, those are made by hand. However, they did want to experiment with AI as well. So some parts of that are, there. They said in terms of the content of the game, it makes up about 0.01% or even less, but we dabbled in it by creating these icons in the game. So interesting. The album covers were also AI generated for the music that was featured in the Foam Star soundtrack, and they were just trying to dabble it, and I believe it was Midjourney that they were using for a lot of that stuff to kind of create certain images. So how are we feeling about this kind of little foray, this little dip the toe from Square Enix in the AI side on Foam Stars?
I feel like it's just unnecessary. Like, I understand, hey, we just wanted to test out AI art to see what that was hitting for. I feel like there's just no reason for you, the gaming company, to do that, right? I think there's people who are already looking into AI art. Let those people experiment with that. Let them, let the people who are dealing with AI deal with AI. I don't like this little oh no, of course we just dipping the toe. We're not doing anything crazy. But it's not like they're saying we'll never do it again. Like, of course you're dipping the toe. They're gonna keep doing it. It's only gonna get worse for people who are trying to get those small little jobs. And even though it's a 0.1 little 0% or whatever, it's still work that could have gone to somebody and either bolstered their portfolio, helped them. Like it's still art. It's still a job that could have been done, given or given to somebody else. Now, if you're telling me that like you guys are overworked to the point where nobody can take on this extra thing, I understand that. But even then, I would say I'd rather just scrap that part than having AI do it. You know, because again, I just don't like the idea of developers getting comfortable using machines that to do work that could be given to somebody, or even like a small intern. Like, hey, you're working. Do you want to work with us and do like these small little things? Like, I know you want to get into video games. Why don't you become an intern for us? We'll give you the experience, put your name into credit, and all you got to do is make these little icons or do whatever. Like, I think that's an amazing trade-off for somebody who's fresh out of college or going to college, kind of thing. You know, like there's ways around it.
Yeah, it's just like with we talked about it last week as well, the AI deal for stuff in video games already being a thing, and like they're kind of like revving the engine on that and starting to really get farther in that pursuit, in that lane. Now we're seeing AI actually in the game production itself in full. It's concerning. I'm not gonna lie. It is very, very concerning to the fact that, again, there could have been people, there are definitely 100% a ton of logo artists out there who could have been commissioned to help make this work and understand the feel. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I am worried, especially in the case of Square Enix, because let's not be so quick to forget. I love Square Enix. Square Enix makes one of my favorite, again, game series of all time, my favorite game series of all time, but we got to call BS and potential harmful things out when it's possible. And they were at the forefront of that crypto thing when it was like really taking off. They had like them and Ubisoft were like the two prominent names I remember, had a lot of news almost every week talking about, oh, we gotta double down on our crypto thing, gotta double down on the NFT stuff, gotta double down on, you know, the XYZ, and trying to introduce practices that really weren't beneficial entirely for, again, the team that were associated with them and the people who are going to be consuming the game. So it's like, at the end of the day, I know what this is. This is just profit shaving. This is just like, yo, you guys are trying to keep your margins as high as possible. You want to save as much time as possible. You don't want to hire as many human hands as possible to make this art because that might charge you more. And, you know, you're just kind of trying to find another path around through Midjourney. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it sucks because there's, again, great people out there who make great art. And I don't want this to be the introduction to so many more people losing their jobs and so much more potential, like different styles and different interpretations and different executions of art being muddled or kind of thrown into a random melting pot because Midjourney, you know, is just around and people are like, oh, we'd rather just be cheap and just do this, you know what I'm saying, pay this little fee and get Midjourney to pump these out rather than, you know, possibly create some different art, something that comes from human hands. To me, I feel like we got to have hard limiters on this type of stuff, in my opinion, or at least a very strong proving case, especially from the account of the artists and developers themselves. I don't want to hear it from publishers and execs. I want to go to the source. If this is helpful, if this something like this is helpful for, again, the people in the studios, like, hey, you know, like, okay, we really couldn't find it based on the constraints of time. We divvied up this project. It's like 95% here. This is what we did that's like regular, and this is what we did. We sourced our own, you know what I'm saying, our own art from inside our own engines or team or whatever, and we told them to synthesize something XYZ that's very minimal and saved us all time. If we can hear it from the artists themselves, you know what I'm saying, if we get a clear, I guess, good judgment or clearance from the team themselves, from the artists themselves, from the people who are working day in and day out in, you know, not necessarily in competition, but before preceding stuff like this AI art stuff, then I'll say, okay, fine, cool. As long as they're cool with it, I'm okay with it. But I don't think that's going to be necessarily the case across the board. So that's all I'm saying. We need to value the account of the artists and the people who are on the front lines of making art in this conversation, especially those that, again, these game studios who are making these things happen. So, you know, does this impact the standing of Foam Stars a little bit? Oh, 100%. In this day and age, it's definitely going to take a little bit of a sour taste because it's that. Hope it doesn't kill the game on release, you know what I'm saying? But it definitely does take a little bit of a hit in the public eye.
Yeah, it's sad to see. And it is quite enough to get some people not to pick this game up whatsoever. It is a game that is coming in brand new. You know, not a lot of people are hearing about it or sitting there like, yeah, man, I can't. I'm all for this this Foam Stars. So like it hurting your perception in front of the public opinion when this is a new IP, like that's tough, man. But hey, to each their own.
To each their own, man. For real, bro. But we can slide on to the next thing, man. Damn it, Square. Damn it. But pushing on here, we've had a lot of buzz and rumors around. Again, I feel like every week this is just like Elden Ring. It's Erdtree Watch. This is Erdtree Watch. Not like Tornado Watch. It's not Hurricane Watch. It's Erdtree Watch. I'm about to put a whole like official bulletin and everything because more and more people are looking at all the fine print codes and details of Elden Ring posted everywhere on the internet, and we're finding more evidence that it could be a 2024 collab, a 2024 drop for sure. But we've seen some inklings and signs through a DLC package being updated on Steam recently. I believe in the past couple of days, on the 15th, you know what I'm saying, something was updated on Steam. And I think before there was a music update on Spotify or another music services app that updated the soundtrack of Elden Ring. Is this just hearsay, or is this actually giving some more breadcrumbs to we're getting something sooner rather than later for Elden Ring DLC? Talk to me, when.
I feel like I kind of want to say the Elden Ring DLC will drop this year. If I'm not mistaken, they're working on other games. They already released Armored Core. Like I could see people leaving Armored Core and going back to working on the Elden Ring DLC. I think this year would be a really good year for them to bring back their game, or to bring relevance back to Elden Ring, just because it doesn't seem like a very packed year for From Software. So this would be like, from a marketing perspective, or just like a publisher's perspective, like the best time to drop some From Software stuff. Just be like, yo, we're still around, be aware, but also giving their studios time to create other games. Now, how far? I think if we're hearing things like this, I would want to say we're not going to get anything until maybe the earliest would be the fall. That's what I think. But if there's a new DLC, I definitely, and I've re-downloaded Elden Ring, and I do plan on going back. But I think that a lot of people are going to be really happy with this, and me as well. I can't wait to see where they go with the world.
Yeah, listen, man. All I gotta say is, do I want to be bold and predict something crazy? Absolutely. Give me a first half of 2024. Give me a first half of 2024 if we gonna say it. Well, I'm wondering where they could drop the news of this. I mean, they might just drop it at random because they have enough gravitas in their name. I don't know, man. I would give, if it dropped in, I would say, honestly, not first half. Maybe August. If I have a guess, August. August is when they would drop it. They probably give themselves a bit more time. I would have said April beforehand, but I'm not sure now if they didn't drop something by now or by the end of this month. I don't know if we're gonna get it first half, but I'm gonna say as a safe bet, it'll drop in August. That's my guess right there. Simple as.
I can see that. I think I think that would be a good time for them to drop. I just haven't heard enough, you know.
Yeah, me neither. If it'll go, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it has to, if it's gonna drop first half, it has to say something now. It can't just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't just drop out of the blue like that. Or maybe they could, but I don't think that's normally how they operate. If anything, I'd say they just have a big drop at what's it called? The Summer Game Fest and stuff like that, and say, hey, see y'all at the end of summer. Bye. And then just dip off. I think that would make more sense for them. But yeah, we'll see, man. Hey, whoever gonna bet with me, you know what I'm saying? The parlay's up. Y'all gonna owe me some money, but you know, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out in post, guys. Don't worry. Moving on here. Now this was sparking up a lot of controversy and just a lot of debate over the past week. According to one executive at the Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia maker Ubisoft, there's been just some consideration, just some understanding that he basically said, if you're looking at the different subscription services out there, gamers are just going to have to understand to get used to the fact of they might not own their games with the rise of subscription services. And if they want subscription services to really take off for video games, people just have to get used to not owning them. Now, this hit the hornet's nest. I ain't gonna lie to you. Give me your reaction.
Stupid. That's my reaction. No, I'm kidding. It's worse than that. I don't get why these people speak. You know, if I was making money as like any awful, because I don't want to say awful. I don't want to say these people are awful people just because of the jobs they hold, but I'm making money hand over fist with these video games. People saying things like you're just gonna have to get used to getting screwed more is kind of bananas, you know? Why, like, you wouldn't say that about people who have movie collections, you know? Like, why would, like, I understand streaming is cool. I like streaming services, right? I love Game Pass. I love Netflix. I have DVDs and Blu-rays of movies that I know I'm going to watch more than once, or I don't want to have to wait for a streaming service to put it on there. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand in the gaming space, is that saying like people are just gonna have to get used to not owning their games. That's kind of only really said if you have access to a majority of the games out via a reliably cheap streaming service, right? Like, I'm not upset that I don't own all the Stranger Things seasons because it's a show that I'm not really super interested in, but I know that if I just want to watch it for 1 month or whatever, I'll throw down 12, 14, I don't know how much Netflix is these days. It's probably like, what, 19 or something like that?
Too motherfucking high. That's what that is.
Too damn much, for sure, absolutely. But that's a podcast for another day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for the trailer trove at some point.
On me.
But I can reliably be like, hey, I'm gonna do this. The only reliable service we kind of have is Game Pass. PlayStation's is good, but it doesn't have a majority of the games that people want to play, right? The games that I want to play are not on these services day one, except for literally just Game Pass, and even they don't have every game announced on day one on Game Pass. So for me, I am going to say, sir, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand the financial situations of a lot of gamers. And to sit here and pretend like, I mean, like, who cares about owning a game? That's real disrespectful to your own company, because imagine somebody spent 6 years making a game for you guys. People are enjoying it, and then all of a sudden it gets taken off the streaming platform. How do you think the devs are going to feel? How do you think the fans are going to feel? You're going to tell them, hey, you got to go buy it now instead, but you just said they don't own it. What are you going to take it out of my library? It just seems like you're moving real slimy, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I some of the quotes in this article that were on IGN as well, they tried to make it seem like, again, they got to get gamers have to get comfortable with the fact of not owning your game, but you can expect that in the model, the games will exist, the service will continue, you'll be able to access them when you feel like. That's reassuring? No, it's not reassuring. It's not reassuring, brother. It's not. And it's just the thing. It's like, and then he also quoted, it was here, streaming is also a thing that works really well with subscription, so you pay when you need it as opposed to paying for it all the time. I mean, I don't think I'm paying $70 all the time for accessing my, my one-time purchase of a physical copy of a game. I just, maybe, I get some people, gaming is a very expensive pastime, and I'm not going to shut anybody out or be ignorant to that fact. But when it comes down to the ownership, this is the same Xbox always online, the DRM, not trading games and stuff like that. This is the same argument. This is the same ballpark of rhetoric that we're getting back into again about this ownership stuff. And I think that the industry, some people in the industry are desperate to see this subscription model prevail because they can tap into profits and exposure that they've only seen one service have, and that's Xbox Game Pass in this lane. Again, in entertainment, you have the streaming services of Netflix, the Hulus, and all stuff like that. They've already taken it over because there's been no safeguard against it. They've already kind of destroyed that barrier of physical copies and theatrical releases, and tied this stuff to you got to be at home, you got to get the subscription, blah blah blah. There was no barriers to entry there. There wasn't enough consumer blockage to let that be stopped. In the gaming space, where all these games are predominantly bought one-time fee, you get it either digital or physical copy. Physical copies starting to dwindle a little bit, but that's a part of the problem in general. Like, I feel like a lot of these execs are just trying to push for it because they see the profit line. They see the profit line of, oh, streaming is more accessible. We just got to make sure they don't own their games. And that's the problem. Like, they want it to be a consistent cycle when I just want it to be transactional. Like, yo, I'm paying you one time for this game for most of these things. Again, if your service is worthy enough, you know what I'm saying, if it has enough like weight to it, like again a Game Pass, then maybe I'll buy in to get some games on a limited basis. But there's going to be some games I want to purchase and keep for myself, and when I purchase it, I expect to keep it, have my ownership, i.e. if shit goes down, if Lizard Squad takes y'all shit down, or if one day y'all change, you know what I'm saying, change the mood in y'all weather, or the Death Star hits somebody's home and y'all turn evil and shit, y'all can't take what I have away. That's the simple fact of it. It's just the ownership part. And it's like, I don't get it. I mean, I do get it from a business sense. Like, okay, you're trying to make as much money as possible, and subscription models are a very surefire model to, again, get more money out of people over a longer period of time, because it's in smaller increments, but it adds up, blah blah blah. But I don't think gaming needs to turn this way, honestly. You know, I don't think it does, and it's just annoying that it keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And unfortunately, there are going to be some people who fall for it. There are going to be some people who fall for that full time. You know what I'm saying? Everything they own is subscription service, when, you know what I'm saying, they might need to take a step back, or maybe own a couple more things, you know what I'm saying, and maybe curtail this. But it's just annoying. I don't want it. My humble opinion, from the bottom of my heart, I'm like, just let us have the games that we want to have. If you want to get it on subscription service, cool, but there's got to be that leg room for, again, just owning our own games as consumers and physical ownership. I don't care how much people are trying to erase it from the history books and all that stuff, and erase it from what we do today. I want physical media to still be there, and I gotta make my best efforts to make sure I'm battening down my hatches to get what I need from a physical standpoint, because they're trying to take it all away. And that's kind of the start of the slippery slope towards we don't own shit physically, and that to me, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate the trend that this is going for, but it's never the creatives that are doing it. It's never the people with the big bright ideas. It's the people who profit off of it that think that these ideas are good, which is very telling of what their priorities are in the creation of these things.
100, man. It just it's annoying. We don't want to hear about that shit. And this is the shit that kills me too. Ubisoft exec tries to slip in this terrible ass idea and this thinking in the same week and a half span that probably one of your saving graces this year drops. So the Prince of Persia drops, and you have all this, you know what I'm saying, all this fanfare, all this surprise. People like, oh, this is a great game, this is a good pickup, good job, Ubisoft, you guys are doing great, blah blah blah. And then you drop this comment, and we're like, oh, Ubisoft, screw you guys. You're like, yeah, y'all suck. You know what I'm saying? What are you guys doing here? With that thinking, you guys suck. And it's just not, that's not on, man. I don't know, man. I hate these veiled, you can't take the win, you know what I'm saying, without y'all saying something crazy on the back end of it. It's always got to be one. It's always got to come with both. You guys give, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of ice cream and all this, you know what I'm saying, like crazy ass, like castor oil and shit on the other side of it. Like, why do you guys speak when you guys are ahead? You have a good thing on your hands with the Prince of Persia stuff, and then you come with these comments. It's just annoying, the timing of this as well. Man, couldn't even give Prince of Persia some time to breathe before y'all, you know what I'm saying, go back to the gutters. It's just rough. It's just rough, man. Ubisoft, fix up. All right, pushing on to the next story here. We had a lot of rumors in the rumor mill at the top of the year from the coalition on the Xbox side of things that we may get a Gears of War collection. Now, we've heard that it may be in testing at this point, and there may be some credibility to these claims here. Many have anticipated that the Ultimate Edition, Gears 2, Gears 3, Gears 4, and Judgment, all of them up to this point, will be, you know, either reimagined, rebuffed. I don't know what exact format it's going to come in, but the entire collection will be there. We've heard some rumors about online play being, again, just transferred over as is. Might be a pooled list. I'm thinking in the minds of a Master Chief collection type of vibe. How do you feel about this? This rumor stirring up and the Gears of War collection possibly coming in?
I don't know. This kind of news, like, I don't really even care much for, because it's like, I think it'd be cool to play Gears 1 on PC, because I don't think they're on as of recording. I'm not sure if they're on or not. I know 1 Gears of War 1 was released on PC, but 2 and 3 weren't. And that's the main I never beat all 1, and then I found out that 1 and 2 aren't there, and I was like, I'm not buying an Xbox. So I'm gonna just set this where it is. I think that it would be cool. Am I excited for it? No, we're in a makes where like now a remake isn't even hype anymore. Like a remake is almost expected. Like unless you do something wild, like we're remastering Sly 1 and 2, something that people be like, whoa, we didn't expect this at all. Like it had to be something very obscure. Gears is still relevant to today. Some people would say dead game. I don't really believe so, because I'm sure if I was to jump in right now, I could find a match. But the only reason I would want to see Gears 1 and 2 and 3 is just because they weren't on PC. That would be cool, but it's not really. I'm not gonna be jumping at the coalition like, well, thank you guys so much. Like it's cool, like awesome. Whereas I guess Gears 7 at this point, I think they didn't make 6 yet. I could be. I think there's only 5.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they made 6 yet. I don't think.
Yeah, but I would like to see. I don't know what if this franchise can continue on, because I feel like not much changes enough to like when I played 4 and then I played 5 because I was playing multiplayer a little bit. Not much changed to me. Like it felt very similar, and I was just like, well, what are people? Why am I playing this whole? You know what I'm saying? Like the only reason I'm playing this is because it's on Game Pass. If this wasn't on Game Pass, you're not getting me for a Gear 6. You're not gonna get me to spend $60 because why am I getting this? Which is kind of sad because this game was like at one point seen as like a COD rival. I feel like the esports scene was kind of nuts.
Yeah, no, 100, and honestly, again, for the sake of Xbox, I feel like this is a good move. If there is any truth to this, you know what I'm saying? If there is any truth to this, I think this is a really good move. I would want to see it back. And again, as long as the multiplayer is pulled in, I guess they'll do it on. They'll create the. I'm not sure if they'll kind of separate the experiences like that, but I'm almost certain that they'll go in a route of Master Chief Collection where they'll kind of pool all of those things back into one multiplayer system, and then they'll have kind of like just those modes, maps, and stuff available. They might playlist it out to kind of separate each game or certain playlists and modes and stuff. But I think this is a good move. Gears, I haven't heard or seen from Gears in a few years, and I don't think it's as relevant as you think it is. You know what I'm saying? At this point in time, overall, of course, you know what I'm saying, Gears is one of the most pivotal, you know what I'm saying, shooters, third person shooters in Xbox's history. It was again a lifeline and one of the standouts and cornerstones of the 360 era going into the Xbox One era. I just think that right now, while there's not really that much hype on a sequel for any Gears iteration, I think this is a good stopgap for them. If they can put enough love and TLC into this can bring a lot of people back in and generate more buzz on the Gears franchise. 'Cause I feel like, again, where did Gears 5 come out? Like 2020?
I want to say it was 2020.
2019. It's literally been almost 5 years? Almost 5 years. Almost 5 years since Gears 5. Again, Gears 4 was a couple years before that. It's been a long time, and this is one franchise where I think from Gears 1 all the way up to, I'm about to say, wherever they were talking about, to Gears 4 and Judgment. I don't kind of rate Judgment because Judgment was kind of ass, but that's beside the point. From 1 to 4, we'll just say that it's well deserved for some type of, again, facelift or reintroduction back into the Xbox audiences. I see this as one, again, that good way to just revitalize any buzz for the IP in general, because we haven't seen it in so long, and it's kind of been cast aside by a lot of people. It can be an exclusive online multiplayer game. And another one, you know what I'm saying, kind of stick it to Sony, who don't really got any multiplayer joints right now, first party. Drop that on people. Go Xbox PC day one or on Game Pass, whatever you want to drop it from. And 2, when you're leading back into more first-party titles that's in the future, a Gear 6 in this instance, you're building up the train for that IP specifically, for that iteration of the IP specifically. Not just, oh, yeah, it's more, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, yeah, the Gears thing is back, let's keep playing collection. Nah, you build that up. People say, oh, yeah, we love Gears. And new people say, oh, shoot, I didn't know about Gears. That's dope. And then we had the 6th one come out, and you're only bolstering the buzz that goes towards another first-party title. And with the way I think Xbox are going to approach this over the next few years with, you know, they might loan some first party titles out to the masses to help them build some buzz, and other ones are going to try and keep building internally to kind of expand the heavy hitters in the ecosystem. This is a good play to me. If this holds true, I think this is a very good play.
Yeah, I hope so, man, because I think I would like to see them succeed. Because I mean, hey, it's like Halo is kind of in a rough spot, but like I think that the steps that Halo has made, I gotta give them, their props.
They stuck in
for moving forward. Like they're digging their boots heels in, and they're saying we're still relevant. This shit's still relevant. We're gonna make you care. And I hope they do the same for Gears, man.
100%, man. Gotta credit it, man. But Microsoft, if they can weave this in right, they have a lot of firepower on their hands. Imagine if they got enough from the Gears collection to be firing, and that gets buzz again for the next Gears. They have COD, you know what I'm saying? So even though COD's multiplat, it's still going to be perceived as something on their wheelhouse that they'll get money from all sides from. And if they somehow get Halo really firing again in terms of the public eye, like that could be they have the three most dominant shooters of the past probably 20 years, the three most popular ones, you know what I'm saying, outside of maybe the BRs. Like that's serious business. That's serious business that they're cooking with going into the next few years. So again, hopefully this Gears of War news is true. All right, pushing on here, we got an update on GTA 6, and where did we get this update from? None other than Teddy Pendergrass down T-Pain, as he said on one of his streams live across his platforms. He's been working with Rockstar Games on GTA 6. He was asked a question about RP and why he doesn't do it anymore, and he was like, yeah, and I quote, I used to be on No Pixel, then I started working on GTA 6, and they told me I couldn't do RP anymore. They had this whole speech, and I'm saying he realized that they acquired 5M and they're doing their own RP stuff now, so he kind of had to like not wean out of it and back out due to some legalities and things like that he got presented. So in simple case, T-Pain will be in GTA 6 in some capacity. How do we feel about this?
I think it's just really smart. I think it's a phenomenal move on T-Pain's part. Like masterful gambit, sir. It's gonna be pretty dope. Because no matter what capacity T-Pain is involved in, even if it's just like a radio host, like I'm still gonna be like, oh my god, it's T-Pain. Even if it's just like a side mission or he's just a part of a mission or something along those lines, I would love for him to have like kind of like a bigger role, even if it's like side quest type vibe where like T-Pain is like, yo, I need you to pick up some strippers for a party or something like that. Like it'd be cool. T-Pain has a really fun personality. He's hilarious. I think he would fit in well he wouldn't even have to really do much in terms of acting for this role, because I feel like he knows GTA. It's a really good pickup. Shout out to him. Really proud of him. Happy for him.
100%. Again, GTA, good job. You got one right. I mean, you'll mostly get everything right, but this is a good sign that this is going to be a banger game, bro. You can't have a Miami-based game without having some Miami, Broward County, South Florida-based legends to have on the soundtracks. This is what I'm talking about. I need to hear Teddy Bang classics, bro. I need it. I need it. Like, buy you a drink, going down, you know what I'm saying, the strip. Come on now. What are they? Listen, this is some serious business that we talking about here, man. This is a great addition. T-Pain is gonna kill it, no matter what capacity he's in. Honestly, I hope they make him a character as well as have his music just across whatever stations and stuff on GTA. But I think at least at minimum, for sure, it's gonna be a station. He's gonna have music again woven through there, whether it be new music, whether it be his old classics. I don't know exactly what, but it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope, and I can't wait to see who else they have. Locked in for this. They should have a lot of good, like, again, South Florida legends on this. If they have T-Pain, I think that's a good marker to say they're gonna cover the gamut of a lot of different, South Florida artists that we want to see in there. So good stuff. I love it. All right, pushing through here. Smite 2. Smite 2 has been announced. Again, Smite 2 is apparently boasting full cross-play, cross-progression, a whole bunch of changes and tweaks to come through. I believe it's being, built up in a new engine. I think it's Unreal 5, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a lot of stuff coming through for the game. There's a closed alpha that's coming in spring. When? You know what I'm saying? You know a little bit about Smite, man. How you feel about it?
I played a bit of Smite way back in the day. Definitely a really good MOBA. It was the saving grace for Paragon fans.
Oh man,
the forgotten one.
Hey man, big up predecessor.
A lot of people flocked to Smite when that happened. And honestly, one of my biggest complaints about Smite, because I play MOBAs, I'm a huge league addict. Please get me out of this forsaken life. And it's fun. The only issue I always had was that the game feels stupid old. Even though it's new, it's getting updated frequently. It has a bunch of characters, has a bunch of skins, great collabs, etc., etc. Like, there's so many reasons I like to love the game. To me, it always kind of felt old, felt a little janky. It was kind of a little ugly to look at. Smite 2, I cannot say that it's not out, so I can't say that it is still ugly. But they do still have some of the UI that I truly do hate to look at. I understand why it's there. It is very valuable. It's very important information. Still janky to me, but the characters look really good. Like, a lot of the textures and everything look phenomenal. I think that this is going to be a really good addition to this. I think this is going to be a really good idea. I know the community is pretty split right now with what they unfortunately have announced about, like, the way gems are going to work and the way skins are going to work. A lot of I can see a lot of people hating anytime their game gets a number 2 at the end of it. I completely understand. Overwatch 1 starting the loot box trend, and then Overwatch 2 starting the let's call it 2 and make things more expensive trend. Hopefully Smite won't be more expensive, but it is going to be sad to see people being like, hey, I bought this skin X amount of years ago. Now I gotta pay 50% of it to buy the skin, to have the skin again in the sequel. It is nasty work. I also kind of get it though, because like they got to make their money somehow, and like, what are they gonna do? I mean, they could keep making skins, but when you go into Smite and you check out any character, they have so many different skins, it's not even funny. So like, bring all those skins over to the new game with the new textures, with the new characters. Because even in League, when a character gets a redesign, or not a redesign, a visual update, they have to visually update all the skins. It takes like one character, for example, would take maybe, there's a character I think called Skarner in League of Legends that's been getting a visual rework for like, he's been getting one for like 2 to 3 years now. They're still working on it. Well, actually, he's getting a rework. Exactly. That's not a good example. Like Shyvana would be a character. Yeah. She's still getting her rework, and I want to say it's been more than a year, and they're still not done just the base skins. Because when you change the base skins, you got to change all the other skins and make sure that they align, make sure nothing janky or buggy is happening on that side. So I get where they're like, this is gonna be a lot of work for us, so it makes sense. Like, we're basically remaking these skins, so it makes sense you have to pay for them. But the fact that you have to use that, the money you already spent is only gonna give you 50% back, it's kind of whack. You also look at it from like the Doomers perspective, like, you know, the little like, well, at least, because like, they could easily have been like, nah, we're not gonna give you anything back. And if you're a big Smite fan, I don't think you're not gonna play Smite 2. I don't think that's the case, because they did say Smite 1 will be still up. They said they're not shutting it down. They're gonna keep updating it regularly. Cannot possibly imagine them updating it with like a bunch of new characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine them being like, yo,
it might as well just be QOL or something like that.
Yeah, like, it'll be like, yo, bro, you want to jump back on Smite 1 to play some stuff? Or maybe there might still be tournaments, kind of like a Melee type vibe, where they're like, we still run Smite 1 tournaments, but 2 really is where it's at. Because I just can't imagine them splitting their team like that, unless they have like, they give Smite 1 to a new team, and, you know, just let them like cut their teeth in that game. Like, hey guys, here's your game, run it how you want, learn, and then, you know, maybe we'll move you around, etc., etc. But you know what I mean. So big fan of the visual updates. I can't wait to see what they do with the game when it's fully released. I don't want to judge the HUD and all that stuff before it's out, because I don't think that it's fair. Excited to see what champions make it over, what champions don't make it over. Big shout outs to my boy Chubraken. That was my guy in Smite 1. I hope to see Arena back as a playable mode, because that was also my favorite mode to play.
Arena was cool. Arena was a good mode.
Because it's just fun. It's just boxing. You're just fighting.
Facts.
Such a good game. And I'm happy for the community, even though the legacy thing does suck. But on the bright side, they're giving you 50% off of skins, whereas Overwatch literally said, not only are we making a lot of skins inaccessible with the legacy coins, but the legacy coins will let you get like the super basic whack, like, oh, my Mercy is purple now. Like, that's what legacy. If I could wipe my ass with legacy coins, it would be more useful than they are to me in Overwatch. So like, the gem thing does suck, It does suck, but it is better than nothing. But please be vocal about what you don't like, because they are listening.
That's real. That's real, man. All I gotta say is, so I don't get to keep my avatar Aang. That's what we're saying. That's
if the skin even makes it over.
Damn. It's fucking bullshit. I have nothing else to add. If that's it, I'm out of here. Man, Smite on some bullshit with that skin thing. But no, outside of that, it does look cool, though. It does look cool. Real quick, we can move on here to this piece of news. Again, Square Enix has shown up, but there's a statement from Square Enix's recently hired CEO, and he basically says that the whole entire organization wants to slim down their release lineup to ensure highest quality across their projects. We have a quote here, again, and I quote, "We have tried to produce hits by developing a wide variety of titles rather than by focusing on only certain ones. I believe that this has resulted in the splintering of our resource pool." So when, you know what I'm saying, they said, hey, we got to relax, tighten up to get better stuff out. How you feel about just that kind of a admission of status in terms of their development cycles?
Yeah, I mean, anybody could have told you that, I feel. I think that I understand why the other approach was taken, though. I think they were just kind of like, yo, if we put out like solid bunch of 8s or 7s, like we're gonna make our money back, you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as we keep the content up, people are gonna keep buying it. But that's not the case no more. I feel like a lot of people are more cautious when buying games these days, especially with the rise of like Game Pass. If I cannot buy Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I will find something to play on Game Pass until I can buy it, right? I don't have to like, well, I don't have any other games to play, so I guess I'll buy this Square Enix game or whatever. Like, you gotta come swing, and you gotta give people a reason to buy your games, really, at the end of the day. And like, having more, like, saturating the market, especially against yourself, when you're competing against yourself, it's quite difficult. So I am very happy with this approach. I think everybody should be taking this approach. I think everybody should be looking at what Baldur's Gate 3 did and being like, wow, they delayed their game, came out 6 years later, and it is huge. It is still talked about till this day. Now, will that give you the bottom? Will it give you those dollars? I cannot say that it will. You know, I cannot promise you that delaying your game and making sure it's perfect on release will give you the sales that you need. But I can tell you will get a good game, and a good game does sell. They do sell. Will they give you as much as 3 mediocre games? I don't know, because I don't know the numbers. But Square Enix is kind of in a rocky situation with Forspoken not being as good as it could have been. Final Fantasy 16 was good. It was great. A lot of people weren't saying it was amazing, though. Like, a lot of people weren't sitting here saying that this is the greatest. I've seen a couple people with that reaction, but it wasn't received like a Baldur's Gate 3. It wasn't
Shout out
received
Nick
like
Tanner.
Elden Ring. Yeah, like, it wasn't received to the extent where people are like, no, you need to shut up and stop talking about whatever you're talking about, because you need to play this game. It was more like, oh, this game is cool. It's awesome, dope. Like, that's Forspoken could have been better on that level if you guys would have given it more, or even just had more time for it, you know? So I think that truly, slowing things down is almost at this point inevitable for all these creators, for all these companies.
100%. And again, I'll speak to Square Enix first and then circle back to that. Remind me if I get up too far off the track. But for Square Enix, again, this is what needed to happen. Just consider how many things they're involved in. Again, like the partnerships, like the series that they're already working on. You got these. You got the what the hell is it? All the Dragon Quest side projects and stuff like that. Again, as much as I anticipated, and you know what I'm saying, people enjoy Dragon Quest treasures and stuff like that, but it's a lot. You get spread too thin. You know what I'm saying? You can only do so much, especially with the financial hits you've been taking over the past year or so with some projects that you bet on and didn't come out as well as intended or expected. So this is the only logical thing I would say in terms of a approach standpoint. You guys got to thin out, focus on the big ones. You can expand where you need after the fact, but you have to lock in on the biggest projects. And I feel like some of that again, they're aware of that. This is obvious. I think we've all seen this before. And me personally, I have personal stake in this because one of your biggest franchises suffered from some of this resource divestiture, if you want to put it like that. Kingdom Hearts 3 at launch suffered greatly, in my opinion, because of the hot potato. The change the engine, of course. You know what I'm saying? Going from the Luminous to Unreal Engine, that was already a big thing. But going from, you know what I'm saying, Osaka team, you know what I'm saying, there was other people involved in it earlier in development. It got handed over, then this got handed over, and it's just like a lot of projects are lost in the shuffle, and they're lost in the balance because of all this. Like, again, like the resource allocation, you don't have enough to see it through from the offset of a project. And that's, I feel like it could have been the margin between what was great and what was amazing for Final Fantasy 16. That could have been what made Kingdom Hearts 3, again, a much more palatable product at launch rather than after the fact, a couple years later when you drop Remind. You know, it's these things that you have to take a more measured approach with, especially with your heavy hitters, especially with the biggest series. And I bet, again, Final Fantasy Rebirth hasn't really taken much of a hit from this because they know that's their breadwinner. They know it's a short of money, so they're going to put whatever resources towards it. But you would think that you have other big, you know, pretty substantial projects on it. You wouldn't want to, again, divide the attention too much away from those. And again, I'm being selfish here because I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts first and foremost in most of these exchanges, so bear with me. You wouldn't want other projects to kind of get less attention because that could put the profitability of your project and how well it's received in jeopardy. So this is the right way to go. This is what Square Enix needed to do from a long time ago, and I'm glad that they're starting to really form up now and pick and choose where they need to focus in on. Final Fantasy, again, Kingdom Hearts, again, Dragon Quest stuff to a certain extent, because I feel like Dragon Quest is like, again, in probably Asian markets and Japanese markets, I feel like it's probably, again, well received. I need to do the numbers on that to fully check it, but again, out in the West, it's like it depends, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's like mainline, I feel like people are too inundated with how many different titles from the Dragon Quest series that they see to be like, okay, what is actually pure Dragon Quest and what's like a little offshoot that's like either a kiddie game or something that's not really catered towards me. But Square Enix knows a series that are gonna bring them in the most, you know what I'm saying, the most bread and the most kudos from the gamers who will appreciate them. And I feel like now they're taking that corner to actually focus in on what's most important. You know, for a lot of companies, I'd say they have a lot on their plates, and some, you know what I'm saying, some are warranted, some are not. In this case, Square Enix needs to lock in, you know what I'm saying, and take some stuff off of their plate so they can lock in on the big dishes, and that's gonna pay dividends so everybody else can eat well on the consumer side and on the development side. Damn, did I miss my point? Did I miss the other point I was gonna say? Yeah, I did. I know what it was.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie,
I completely missed that point.
I forgot what the
Damn
other
it!
point was. I agreed with everything you said, but I definitely forgot what the second point was.
It was something about the whole thing at large. They just gaming companies at large. That's what it was.
Focusing on
yes,
quality.
Yeah, focusing on quality and people scaling back their projects. People scaling back their projects in general over the next few years. I feel like it was Sean Layden like a year or two ago that talked about how gaming projects are getting more and more expensive over the years, and it's either going to hit a head where, you know what I'm saying, where the consumer prices where they have to buy for games is going to be like that much higher, or again, like there's going to be a zero sum. Something's going to break in this system right now where we're spending more and more video games without certain levels of return on quality or, you know, other expected outcomes from it. It's a dangerous situation. It's a tightrope, and I feel like for certain people and across the industry, I feel like it would help if we just take a scale back and another approach and adjust our thinking on where the money goes to and how much money do you actually need for certain projects. So I can tell you right now, Prince of Persia probably did not cost as much as, again, a Call of Duty probably for a year. I obviously didn't, but is the reception and the public ire, the public, you know what I'm saying, attraction to this game different in their eyes? Yeah. Prince of Persia most likely was not a AAA, you know what I'm saying, like full scale, you know what I'm saying, out of this world project. It wasn't an astronomical project. It was probably AA, you know what I'm saying, AA at best in scope and scale, but it's still a really good game. And I feel like a lot of bigger companies need to start looking at that level if they're not equipped to fully service a AAA game in this day and age. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't hurt to scale down. As long as you make a quality product, it doesn't hurt to scale back and scale down. Or if you're doing too much across a certain range of projects, bring certain things back, because you're only going to hurt the projects that you have out, or you're going to push out, because there's not as much TLC into them. That's all I got to say on that point.
No, I completely agree. And I think like certain examples like that game, even games like that I played this year, which were quote unquote AAA, but not really, were like Yakuza Like a Dragon, Ishin, not Ishin, the man who forgot his name. That was a game that was, to me, was $50. There's no way it cost as much to do what they did in that game. On other games, obviously very different, for a variety of reasons. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like though they didn't reuse a lot of assets that they had saved up, but I do believe that you can make quality, amazing titles without having such a huge budget. Indies do it all the time. I think a lot of it needs to come down to maybe some restructuring. Maybe some publishers need to get a little bit of a pay cut. You know, maybe some executive producers don't need to make $1 million a year. Maybe we could bring some funds in from different areas. You know, like how much money is administrative taking home at the end of the day when they're not the ones that are making the game? But outside of regular business, good business practices, I do think that, even though I do feel like games will inevitably get more expensive as time goes on, and as gamers, a lot of us hate to admit it, but a lot of us will pay those prices. But at the end of the day, we're just gonna buy less of those products. And why not become one of the smart developers who decides, hey, you know what, I'm gonna make a $50 game, a $40 game, because I think people are gonna be interested in playing this more than anything else.
Again, and one of our games that we'll talk about in our main story, that's what I want to see more of. People who can at least provide that difference, because if you're going to sell me a $70, $80 game that's not going to have as much love in it, and you're just going to crowd and pack the world with different crap, I don't want it. I'm not going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to feel what I want to feel from a game of that scope and scale, to be lost in it. I feel like it's going to feel bloated rather than rich and worth exploring. You know what I'm saying? In that side. So, yeah. Consider scaling it back, some of y'all. Consider scaling it back. All right, pushing on here. We got one story in the trailer trove this week, a quick one. We had some announcement yesterday, as of this recording, that Sony has now announced an Until Dawn feature film in development. They have, I believe, the Shazam director David Sandberg and the screenwriter from The Nun and Annabelle, Gary Dalberman, on the case. So we're getting an Until Dawn movie. How you feel about that?
I wonder if it's gonna be like a regular movie, or is it gonna be something along the lines of kind of like Bandersnatch or whatever, where like you choose your own adventure. But I feel like that's what the game was for.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they should go that route, but I would love for them to go a route that is not seen in the game as well, because I know that there's like multiple different endings and things like that. I kind of would like for them to like say this is like the movie canonical experience or whatever the heck, as opposed to like retelling the game, because those games, while they are very much video games, I'm not trying to like discredit them or anything, I feel like it's for a more casual fan, like somebody who's more interested in watching a movie than they are playing a video game.
Yeah.
So I think that it could be a good idea to like do something that isn't something we've already seen, because I feel like the people who are interested in that game, regardless of their video game prowess, have already experienced maybe multiple endings, or even just watch their favorite YouTuber play. I agree. And in this sense, we always talk about, does it make sense for this movie to actually be a movie? And again, you could make an argument that this project, Until Dawn, is probably the most apt case for a movie, because you had Rami Malek, you had so many different actors in there already who were putting in performances. It was mostly, again, it was predominantly narrative based. You had some choice in the matter of the branching paths. A story's already set in there. You know what I'm saying? Everything seems teed up to be some type of, again, decent horror movie or something like that. I don't know what. My only question would be, what would they do for the setup of the movie? Were they just gonna like do it the exact same with different characters? Cause I mean, we already seen some prominent actors again on there, like I mentioned, Rami Malek and a few other people that were there. Brenda Song was in there, right? Was she in the first? She was in the latest one, I think.
Oh, okay, she's in the latest one. But like in that first cast, there were still, again, like known actors in there. Are you gonna keep the same cast? as those actors and maybe adjust the plot, because those are supposed to be like teenagers or just like 20-year-olds or something like that in the plot. Are you going to adjust that for the story, or are you going to tweak it to something else and, you know what I'm saying, or keep the same story and change the acting cast in total just to provide something for the audience? Will it change the perception of it? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. But that's definitely just something worth asking as they're getting into the film and writing it, recording and all that stuff like that. But if there's any game that has been suited to a movie screen, it's probably the one that is most like a movie already in its core form. You know what I'm saying? Or at least close to a movie in its core form. So Until Dawn, this is actually a no-brainer. But again, it continues that trend. Sony's trying to take over in many different lanes, and they're trying to be omni-channel with these gaming IPs. They want to be not just a gaming IP. They want to be a movie IP. They want to be, a TV show IP. They want to be, you know what I'm saying, a damn magazine, anime IP, a manga, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Sony is really trying to go omni-channel across. They're trying to go beyond just the controller at this point, way beyond, and they've been at this for a couple of years. And again, they're trying to dip their toes into more of the horror side now on this end. So I think it actually is a good idea with this movie, and I guess we'll see how it turns out.
1000%. I'm excited to see what happens, and definitely is a movie that even if I know what happens in the game, I'm still gonna tap in. It's still gonna be a fun time.
100%. Yeah. And moving on to the main story for today, as I said in the opening of this episode, we are just off of the Xbox Developer Direct 2024. Had a few games that showed up. Again, got some you know what I'm saying, details on a few of them. I think 4 different titles plus a surprise one, and we can get through to that as well. First, we can talk about let's roll to Aura History Untold. When, you know what I'm saying, you had some choice words over Our History Untold as they kind of ran through, you know what I'm saying, their, you know, the different systems, the timeline you choose, the choice that you could make, the different, again, just all the different, the prestige score, the crafting systems, you know what I'm saying, everything that was in there. PC and PC Game Pass fall this year is coming, but walk us through Our History Untold, what you saw of it.
So they showed us this very much a Civ-like game, a 4X game strategy. It seems to be like you're going to be progressing through different civilizations, like different eras, not civilizations. So obviously the people who made this were people who created Civ 5, which some would argue is the best Civ game that was created. Now, the reason they've taken a couple things that they said that were different. They said winning is different in this game. It's not like where you play in Civ, where it's like science, domination, or culture, or like there's a set parameters. This game is going to be more allowing people to play they want to play and allowing them to win how they want to win. I don't know if that means, or like in its core, you will get to decide those things, or if it's something like you set up at the beginning of the match, like, hey, people who have a population of XYZ will win this game, or whatever. But it is a really cool concept because I don't really see that too often in 4X games. It's very much like playing by my set rules, but other people can like mod it and do et cetera, et cetera. So I think that part is really cool. There's a lot of things I do like about it. Like that really sold me. That way of winning really sold me. Certain things kind of got a little sticky, and by a little sticky I mean like in the area of like this is going to be annoying to learn, like crafting. Normally you don't really have to craft in games like this. I mean, you like farm resources and you have these resources to use, but when you say crafting, now it's different. Now it's like, it seems to me like I have to go and say I want X amount of swords to be produced, I want X amount of this to be done, which is like in theory cool, but is it going to become too micromanagey? Like that's my only concern. But all in all, I think it's had a really good showing. Really interested in playing it. Game Pass, phenomenal place to put it, because these kind of games, these strategy games, they kind of have their diehard fandoms. And if I'm somebody who is used to playing Civ, I own all the Civ DLC, what's the point of me doing anything that's not Civ? I'm more likely to try this Xbox game because at the end of the day, this Xbox game is going to be free. So I might as well tap in.
Yeah, no, I hear it. And again, I liked how they kind of mapped out the world, like again, the defined lines. I think what they called it, living world, just kind of that. And I just liked how they laid a lot of things out. The system of like kind of picking the leaders and the prestige score specifically, just some of those systems actually stuck out. They seem to me fairly intuitive, at least from what I gathered. So it looks really, really good. I liked how a lot of it seems pretty good. They had like mechs, son. You had mechs in there.
They had like mechs in there. Like, how far can you even progress in this game? It looks wild.
It's crazy. And again, like all the different prioritization on, again, the different side goals that you can have on top of winning the game. It's dope, man. I'm actually interested in some stuff like this. I need to have a dabble. I said this during the recording of it and stuff when we watched it live, but I need to have a second to actually dive back into just like, RTX games and stuff and just remember what the fuck I got to do to win and just understand the meta again, because I haven't played in a long time since, again, I'm not gonna say the game too much, but Age of Myth, you already know what time it is. But I think from what I saw, this looks like a really good just evolution on top of what we know, and just especially from the just from a system standpoint, from a system and feel standpoint, it looks a lot smoother than anything I've seen really before from the genre. So looks good.
No, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And after that, we had some look in on Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. They talked a little bit more about it. We saw some more gameplay. Just went into a deep dive about, again, just more of the systems, the story. They said that she's going to branch out. She's going to go back and find the people who kind of like did her wrong. And I think she's going, to Norway? Norway or Finland? I can't remember. I can't remember what exact country she's going back to. But she's going back for some revenge, and she's meeting people. She's like, again, she's really going after her, bro. She's going after some people. She's getting a squad with her. She's talking with normal people this time, people. She's talking with normal people, not the voice in her head alone. She's got some actual companions with her beyond that. So Wen, talk us through how'd you feel about the more details on Senua's Saga.
I mean, game is already probably in contention for game of the year. I think we all can agree on that. Looks phenomenal. The one thing that I took away from it that was probably one of my things that I liked the most was when they were talking about like the audio and the effects that it's going to give, like everything being spatial and everything, like the way they describe the voices and how like, yeah, it would feel like they're coming from all over the place. Now all of the audio is coming from all over the place. It's really going to give that effect of like, man, am I going crazy? Is what I'm seeing accurate? Like, is this what life is? Like, is all this real? And it's something that I'm really excited to see them explore. You don't really hear too much stuff when it comes to video game audio unless you're going into the super in-depth dev directs and you're following them. Like, I'm really happy that they took that time to talk about that, because it's something that kind of sold me on this experience, and now I'm more excited to play this and take my time. And they also talked about how combat, all of combat is completely different, and how it's supposed to tell a story with their combat. Like, man, this game looks like it's going to be something completely brand new and very refreshing to see. So I cannot wait for this game. Yeah,
all I gotta say is if you haven't played Hellblade 1, go play it. It was, again, less than 12 hours. This was a really, really good experience, and I feel like they're building on it so much. It's dope. It's dope. And again, it's dropping May 21st, so there's some good time. I just love it. Again, if you want something that's just like, the gameplay elements are so woven together throughout everything you see and everything you do, Senua's Saga and Senua, again, Hellblade 1 are probably some of the best examples over the past few years of like everything being melded together in such a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels like one system, one body, one just thing, breathing and acting and moving, and you're interacting with it. You're amongst that one, you know what I'm saying, that one essence of a game. And I love that. I would have thought I'd be shook for games like this and I wouldn't play them, but the first one, I was very much into it. I was in tune, and Gwen already, covered it, but that spatial audio, that level of stuff that you heard in the first game with just the voices and some of the guides and, for the puzzles and stuff, being that it changes now into a whole atmospheric thing with all the story elements. This could be something very special on a lot of different fronts. So I'm excited for this. I think it is going to be a contender for game of the year. Again, they said 7 to 8 hours, and on top of that, $49.99, people. $49.99 as a starting price. Don't sleep. don't sleep, man. Get the first one. I'm pretty sure it might be on Game Pass. Go get this. Go get it. All right, and we can move on to the surprise of the show. We had an extra, drop in from Square Enix again, the third time on the episode today. But they dropped in for some extra information on Visions of Mana. It will be dropping summer of this year on Xbox Series X, S, and PC on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure it will be too. No confirmation on that, but I'm pretty sure it will. When you look surprised when you saw this, and you know what I'm saying, you look delighted to see some details on it. How'd you feel about that?
When I first saw it, I think it was at the Game Awards, and I thought to myself, like, man, this game looks really good, but I don't know if it's ever going to be out. Like, if it's ever going to be close to being done. Mostly just because it was probably one of the first times I've seen it, or at least I didn't remember the last time that I did. But I was really happy to see this game because this game looks like a lot of fun. It looks like those people who are big fans of Dragon Quest who haven't tapped into a Tales game, like, this is the time. That game looked like a lot of fun. The action RPG, it reminded me of Ni no Kuni in a way. But I haven't played Ni no Kuni, just the look of Ni no Kuni of like just walking around in like a battle area and not necessarily being in the mix, but at the same time it's an RPG, like there's only a certain area that you can get out of. But it also kind of reminded me of like a slow down Kingdom Hearts 3 situation where like you're in an area and you can use spells and like you can see these cool animations and you could like roll it up, but like it's kind of contained into its own little space. All in all though, combat sold me, art style sold me. The music was pretty good. I think it's all I think it's a solid action RPG. And I'm definitely it's on Game Pass, so I'm definitely going to be downloading it and giving it a try.
Hey, big ass wolf dog pangolin combo. That's all I have to say. Tap in, because what other game doing that? That's that again, just the art style looked good. That looked good. Big ass pangolin dog combination. One of them ones. That is all. All right, moving on. We're going into Avowed. Avowed had their deep dive, and again, they showed off the world, some of the characters, some of the flexibility in your gameplay styles. You can switch between a lot of different weapons depending on the context. We saw swords and shields. We saw double spell binding or spell casting like a gunslinger. Again, the different narrative choices. They really put forth the moral gray area that they have in their story-driven games. You can see the consequences of those things happen in real time as you complete certain missions. Just discovering secrets, going through this whole world and just really getting it in. How do we feel about this?
It looked really interesting. I want to see what other enemies there are though, because the combat it didn't look stiff or anything like that, but it seemed very kind of formulaic. But of course, this is me looking at the game as opposed to playing the game, because that's something that like I kind of like. One of my bad habits is like assuming it's not going to be good because it looks like it's not super good. Like I remember playing Knockout City and seeing gameplay and being like, man, this looks super simple. It doesn't look fun, but I could see it being a lot of fun when I actually played the game, I was like, wow, this game is actually really, really fun. So I'm excited to see what this game is going to shape up to be, and how it plays. I really, really cannot wait to get my hands on it. I'm a little concerned about the story, but I don't really know anything about the story, so I don't want to speak ill of it because I don't really know much. The world looked phenomenal though. I can truly say that game looked like a game similar to Skyrim, but like in HD, like vibrant. Like it was imagined on a different scale. I'm excited to see, and the characters also seem like they had a lot of different diversity, so I can't wait to dive into the lore of the game. Like honestly, super excited, and yeah, it's gonna be dope.
I'm angry. I'm angry at this. You know why? We saw another set of Killmonger braids. We can't escape the style.
Yeah.
It's still here. Yeah. Why? Come on, son. Come on now. Obsidian. I thought you were better than this. I thought you were better. Now I'm fucking with y'all. But that's slightly annoying, but it is what it is. Who really cares in the grand scheme of things? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We can hope for better one day. But how the game looked to me, again, this looked very, very solid, very, very within the wheelhouse I expect from Obsidian. I ain't gonna lie, just to rebut you, story is the least of my worries with these guys. Their story is the least of my worries with Obsidian. I think that the Outer Worlds to me prove that they can make something good, especially with the formula that they have. Again, my biggest concern at this point is the gameplay. If it's going to be mystical, if it's going to be on that side, no gunplay like the Outer Worlds. So that's the bank on. How do you make it feel fun? How do you make it flow? Again, I see the intricacies of the parry system that they included. Again, there was a few different enemy types there. They were like small little skirmisher dinosaur types. There were people that healed. They had the swords and shields. It was good. It was a good mix there. And again, in the players themselves, again, you saw the double spell binders, the double wands to throw spells. Again, you could pull out a sword and you can cast things. I saw a good range of approaches to attack enemies in the game. I'm just hoping the flow of it feels a little bit smoother from what my eyes are seeing, and it probably is, but I just don't want to, again, I don't want to definitively cast judgment on it, looking at it from again, this first point of view. From what I see, the gameplay loop looks varied enough for me to have fun throughout it, and I'm glad that they made a point of emphasis to say a lot of these stories may lock you into a certain play style, but we're not going to do that. We're going to give you access to everything, or an access to switch certain things at certain times to give you that edge or give you that ability to switch to something that you want. Again, I'm assuming there's going to be a skill tree or something that is going to basically make you focus on certain things or another, but I'm hoping that there's enough room in that skill path to, again, open up some things for all all sides of the coin or all sides of the tree. So for me, I'm happy. Obsidian, they know where they stand in my book. I love Obsidian. They do great work, and I can't wait. I can't wait for this one. Definitely something I am looking forward to. And fall 2024, man. You think we're locked in for a fall 2024, like a September, October? That makes sense?
I think it looked really far ahead in development, so I don't think that would be crazy. So I'm gonna say yes. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it.
Okay, we'll see about it. And on to the last game shown at this developer direct. We had a look in for Machine Games and their take on Indiana Jones, as we got a first gameplay view of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, there's a lot of stuff shown. Again, the gameplay, set pieces, some of the context on the story. Saying Indiana Jones himself is going to be, Harrison Ford's likeness with Troy Baker's voice all in there. Could hear that man all through the trailer. But for what we saw from this reveal, what'd you make of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
It looks really good for an Indiana Jones game. I have to add that part. I don't like. It's not even a disrespectful thing. It's kind of just like I don't really know what I was expecting for an Indiana Jones game, and this looks pretty solid. Like a good, solid title if you're a fan of Indiana Jones. I am not. Like, I'm just not a huge indie fan. No real reason other than the fact that just growing up, I didn't watch it till I was way older, and I'm like, oh, these movies are cool, but it's not. I'm not going to be like, yo, we need to rewatch all three of these movies like every year kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked interesting. The whip combat looks interesting. I hope there are like the main villain is a man of darker skin color. Don't know how we feel about throwing a whip at the guy. I'm just,
Listen, we got Nazis. We got Nazis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're fighting Nazis, so I'm like, cool.
We're beating them
Cool
Nazis.
but yeah, other than that, it looks pretty alright. Like, it looks pretty solid for an Indiana Jones game. Like, it could honestly be really, really bad, but it could also be really, really good for those people who like the franchise. That's why I don't want to like talk too much smack, because at the end of the day, this just might not be a game for me type vibe. Maybe it's not meant for people who aren't Indiana Jones fans, but for people who are, they're gonna have a lot of fun.
Nah, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw. Pleasantly surprised, again, especially with how well they depicted, Indy's character. I think Troy Baker's voice acting in there is just solid, good work. The set pieces, the environments, they look really, really good. I like that they have the first person focus, and maintaining that while adding some third person elements. Again, like the traversal you can do with the rope. You might, climbing up a pipe or something like that. They'll switch to third person. I'm glad that they have those moments to switch between to provide some perspective on it. I'm very curious to see what some of these action set pieces look like. Probably my biggest concern out of the gate looking at it is some of the gunplay that's mixed in with just the general combat. The only thing we saw of it was just him pulling out the pistol, and that looked a little bit stiff in and of itself. So I'm hoping that's not all we see of it for one, and we get a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Indy, might not have the heaviest weaponry outside of maybe like the airplane machine gun that he was toting, but I hope that we have a little bit more, fluidity in that, in the gunplay and in the combat that we're gonna see in this game. That's just my 2 cents. And through the set piece, I hope there's just a little bit more fluidity in running through those. So outside of that, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Again, I like the build up. I'm liking the character cast. I'm liking the conflict, the setup. I'm Indiana Jones, Uncharted, National Treasure history, full. I like that type of stuff. I like these types of stories. So the puzzle play, I heard there's going to be a good amount of it. So prepare to struggle. If you ain't about that life, it's going to suck, i.e., me half of the time. Sometimes I'm locked in, sometimes I'm not, but I'm glad that they said that, and they provided a really good emphasis on it. There's going to be some puzzles that are required. There are optional ones, and then there are ones that are really hidden in the environment itself, so you may even pass through some. So I'm liking that they did provide some emphasis and a point of difference where other action games are, like a Uncharted might reign similar. They're going to provide more, again, incentive to go explore and find puzzles that are hidden in the environments you walk through, which I think is a good point of difference for a game like this coming out the gate. So, from what I see, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And again, I believe we're still holding to a 2024 release date for this. So it's on the way to come out. It's going through. I have some vested faith that this will actually be a decent game. I would give it a 7 to 8 range probably. My gut is telling me that, but I'm hoping that this can, really deliver and hopefully aspire to more when it fully releases. But for right now, I do enjoy what I'm seeing. I hope there's a little bit more fluidity and smoothness to the movement of Indy in these environments. Everything else though, the plot looks interesting enough. I'm interested. Again, history. I'm a whore for that type of stuff. So you got me sold. Just wanted to see more of the gameplay, just more of the action set pieces and sequences as you kind of run through environments with the multiple branching play styles. You can sneak, you can, use the whip for different, ways to get around. That is another plus as well. The applications of the whip, you can use that to distract, you can use it to, grapple people, and of course melee itself. I like that it's multi-purpose because again, it is a multi-purpose weapon. So I like that they definitely applied it in terms of the gameplay systems. That seemed really cool to me as well. I liked how woven in that was. I'm wondering what else might be in either a skill tree or a potential move list or move set that he has with all the tools or eventual set of equipment that he may get across the game. Interested in that as well. But from my gut reactions, I think it could be solid.
Yeah, I also agree, 7, 8 range for sure, but it's one of those games where it's like, it gets an 8, but if you're an indie fan, you're gonna love it. You're gonna be like, this is the most definitive experience I've had as a fan of this franchise.
Yeah,
and honestly, I think that's fine because you don't need this game to be it's not supposed to make everybody happy. It's an Indiana Jones game. It's supposed to make Indiana Jones fans happy.
Facts. Set right between what's it called, or Lost Ark and the Last Crusade. So people are gonna be right at home with this type of thing in terms of the context of Indiana Jones' arc. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no Shia LaBeouf joint, so you guys should be all right. It should be better than that movie. That's solid. That's solid. But looking at the developer direct overall, you know what I'm saying, just letter grading it. How do you feel about what you saw and what the delivery was and just overall thoughts on the show?
It's so difficult because I think this is such a different vibe than what we're used to, right? We're used to let's grade it on a letter on how they were trying to market this towards us, how hyped the trailers were. But I don't think they were really trying to make things hype. They were kind of just trying to make things understandable. They were kind of just like, yo, here's an update of what we've been doing. Let me know if you fuck with it. But it's not meant necessarily like, yo, here's a trailer and we're dropping, boom, we got Harrison Ford, the real voice actor, on. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to get me hyped. They're just trying to talk about their game, which I honestly thought was really fun, was really nice. If I had to give this a letter grade, I don't know, because I would have to like rate it differently than I would rate normal like directs. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this was. I want to say it was a B, because I left with a lot of new information. A lot of games that I was excited to see. I got to see more of those games, and yeah, all in all, it was just a really good. I want to say it was a really good showcase of what people are working on.
I'm gonna give it a B plus for what you stated, on top of the fact that everything here was on Nintendo timing. We heard reveal, and it will be dropping in 2024, at least to our knowledge right now. They've doubled down on these 2024 dates from all these games, especially the surprise one that they just dropped. So we got May 21st, summer, fall. I think. Well, what was our history untold? I can't remember what when they said it was dropping.
I think that was dropping. No, I don't think it was fall. Was this summer? It was dropping this.
Yeah.
Maybe.
In any case,
it's dropping this year.
All of them for sure said they're dropping this year. All of them 100% said, "Hey, we're doubling down this year." Yeah, our history untold is fall this year. So it's good to see that they're like very stringent about this, or at least attempting to be very stringent about, hey, the games you're seeing right now, you're going to see them later this year. So don't even trip about it's being years out and it's not like actual games that don't have gameplay or blah, blah, blah. They're following suit with Nintendo and saying, hey, you wanted something direct? It's coming to you live and direct in a few months. Just sit tight. So for that fact and my philosophy on it, which is definitely in line with more of what Nintendo's been doing over the past couple of years and what Xbox is trying to do here, I got to give it some extra points there, just for the fact that we're going to be able to get our hands on these sooner rather than later. So B plus for me. Yeah, dang. And outside of that, that's all we got on this episode. I don't think we really missed any other news outside of that. I think we're pretty caught up. It was a smaller week, but still some things in there. Anything that we might have not covered?
The only thing was the League of Legends games Bandle City getting a trailer. I think that was like really, but it's not even a really big news, but the game did like come out. I forgot that game got announced in the Game Awards, so it was cool to see it like, oh, you guys, it's still coming out. It's kind of like a Stardew Valley with like but you're playing as like the little Yordles from League of Legends, so like little guys, like Heimerdinger type vibes.
Something that just dropped 7 minutes ago. Apparently Ed is coming to Street Fighter in February 2024. Ed is coming.
Oh, that's sick.
We literally just got a trailer for that 7 minutes ago. I can drop that literally in the chat that went through. The only thing I have outside of this is, and I'm only saying this because I'm mad, bro. There's apparently a Wizards of Waverly Play sequel series. Brother, let it die. Let it live. Let it be. When I don't say something, because nah, man.
I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not really tapped into the. Should I care? Is this I didn't.
No,
I watched
you
the show, it was
shouldn't.
cool. Okay, I shouldn't. I don't.
Oh my goodness. I'm fucking with you. Feel how you feel, but all I'm saying is
I don't know how to feel. That's what I'm. I watched the show in passing. I thought it was cool, but I didn't really care too much. Sure, they're remaking these old shows, but I wasn't surprised. I'm like, they're just like, oh, I guess these people need money again. Like Selena Gomez and the dude who played her brother were like, hey, we need a bag, and Disney was like, we can make a quick buck real quick.
Hey man, but I have words that will be spoken in full soon, but all you need to know is nostalgia needs to die, and that's all I gotta say on that. Yeah, damn, bro. That first theme song was a banger, though. That's all I'm gonna say, though. All right, that's the only thing I'll give y'all. That first theme song was a banger. All right, leave it be. Anyways, that's all we got for this episode, man. I ain't got no more dang news. We'll talk to y'all more in the coming weeks and months about what we got planned. We got some dope things in the works. I'll tell you that right now. A lot more people to see, a lot more people to talk with, a lot more games to cover, man. I'm definitely gonna try and get my hands on, of course, Power World's coming, so that's gonna be automatic talking points in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna try and actually sit down and get to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown and watch through it, maybe give some reviews or final impressions after the fact, and then we'll see what else we can cover in the coming weeks, just to give you some more gaming perspective from the Squidod. As we get up out of here, give me a closing notes.
make sure you drink your water. Make sure you pre-order those games. And enjoy life. Be grateful for the stuff that we have, man. It's gonna be a really dope year in gaming. Will it be 2023 size? I think it won't be, but I think it also have a lot of good reasons to be happy though. So, you know, keep it locked here for a bunch of cool stuff happening.
100%, man. Hey, tap in. All I'm saying is 2024, you're gonna be seeing us a lot more in places you might not expect. So hey, keep your eyes peeled and let people know. No cooldown out here. We out in this bitch, man. Let's go. That's all we got for episode 82 of No Cooldown Podcast. This has been that man Tripp. Make sure you show us some love on all the channels and socials. Make sure you keep running the podcast numbers up and rating us 5 stars and all that good shit. This has been the squad, but we are out of here. Okay, bye.